Hello everyone and welcome to Whisky Wednesday. Now, many weeks ago on a video shot in my office at home, not as well lit as this, I said to you, we're going to review some whiskies which I didn't think we'd ever get the opportunity to. There are two of them. This is one of them. The other one will be next week. And the only reason we get to review this is because of this dent in the box. That's literally it. This was dented, so collectors wouldn't want it. So as a result, I and the staff who work here, my colleagues, we were able to buy it. We all put two and bought one. And this is the Macallan, the Harmony collection, Rich Cacao. I'll probably just say cocoa from this point forward, because I just think if I say cacao constantly, it's going to make me sound just so intense. But cacao. But for now on, we'll say cocoa. 44% European and American seasoned oak casks. And this has been developed in collaboration with Jordi Roca, or Roja, I can't remember how his name's pronounced. He's a pastry chef at El Cela de Roja. Spanish people, I apologize profusely. And they helped put together Macallan Edition 2. And they've done loads of stuff for Macallan. I think Distil Your World London was put together by them. They've had a single cask 12-year-old with them. So those guys and Macallan, very, very good friends. The lady who has put this together for Macallan, I think she's called Polly, I was going to call her Polly Walker. She's called Polly Logan, who is one of, I don't know if she's the new master distiller at Macallan. I thought that was Sarah Burgess. But Polly has put this together with Jordi. And we have this 44% alcohol cocoa style whiskey. It's been open for just under 2 months. When I first tried it, yeah, it tasted and smelled like dark chocolate. But I've not tried it since. So we'll see how it's developed, we'll see what it's done. As most of you watching this will realise, this is a £125 bottle of whiskey. It's limited edition, not sure how many. It doesn't declare an age statement, but it is quite dark. All Macallan is natural colour. That's one thing they're quite intense about. But yeah, as most of you will know, this thing is going for essentially triple its retail price. Excuse me. So that's where most of it's gone. I think on the December auction on Scotch Whisky Auctions, there were 88 of these bottles, and I think they averaged about £260, but some of them still do peak at around 360 to 380. So most people buying this aren't going to drink it. We are, so that's good. It's one bottle, and many other people have actually opened them, so I don't want to be too skeptical about this. But essentially, this is like the new Macallan series. This is the new edition series. There are meant to be 4 more bottles for a 5-part series. This is the first one, cocoa. You'll see the little swirl on the front. Dark chocolate, honey, dates, vanilla, and cinnamon. I don't think that's what the next bottles are going to be called. I think that's just the flavour wheel for this whiskey. If so, the chocolate and the date thing is bang on, because it's all you really get on the nose of this. Recently ordered sticky toffee pudding in a restaurant for the first time in years. Very childhood sort of nostalgic dessert for me, that. And this does just smell of the dates that sometimes you get inside a sticky toffee pudding, and tons of chocolate. It's like a combo of milk and dark chocolate. Very fine too, almost like it's tempered. Like if you went to break a bar of it, you get that perfect like snap or crack. It has that aroma to it. I know it's weird to give an aroma to like an onomatopoeia, but it has that about it. Power of persuasion. I've mentioned the 5 sort of flavour profiles on the front, and now all I can smell is like honey and cinnamon. The honey thing for sure. I'm not a huge fan of cinnamon as a flavour profile. I've said that a few times before, but it is in there. And as with any whiskey in the world that you will try, there are notes of vanilla. It's just going to happen. Most things are matured in bourbon casks. Vanilla is delicious, so thankfully that helps. But yeah, there's nothing particularly unknown on the nose. I think they give you all the detail you can ever want on the front of it. Between Polly Logan and Jordi Roja. Jordi, I'm just going to call him Jordi. Between those two, they clearly know their way around both chocolate and whiskey. And the 5 flavours they put on the front are spot on. The date thing's particularly delicious though. It's those sticky, rich, toffied sort of dates. So yeah, quite an alluring nose. I will say it's quite reminiscent of Macallans of this sort of new age. The one thing that isn't there, which isn't on the front, which I'm just picking up very slightly, is like milky coffee. It's got this really nice kind of soft milky coffee thing going on with it, which I got on the Macallan Estate when we reviewed that many years ago. I've had that on a couple of the edition releases, certainly number 5, because it had that weird raspberry shortbread thing and milky coffee note to it. I've had it on recent bottles of Macallan 18 that I've been able to try. We've not reviewed them, but I've been able to taste them. And now with this, Macallan of old, and by Macallan of old I mean less than 10 years ago, but nearly 10 years ago, always had this kind of chocolate orange thing with it. Now it seems to be moving in this direction of like chocolate and coffee. I was going to say growing up, but it is nearly a 200-year-old distillery. That's only 2 years away now. It's 198 years old, Macallan, from when they started paying taxes anyway. But yeah, the nose isn't surprising. Everything you want to know is on the box. Taste. It's very nice. I do like Macallan. I've said before, I'm a bit of a Macallan fanboy. It's just a shame about the price increases on them. Although I'm not a huge fan of the new 12s. I just think they're a bit... So, initial arrival. Chocolate, as you may imagine. That again, honey, vanilla. There's like a creme brulee thing. For those of you that are big fans of the shop, Hotel Chocolat, they sell like this, what do you call it? God, that's going to annoy me. It's like a honeycomb sort of lattice thing that's wrapped in chocolate. There's a real word for it, but I can't remember what it is. Tastes a bit like that. Honeycomb, chocolate, but I suppose honey's on the front of this box too. The creme brulee thing's lovely. You get that really kind of creamy vanilla note. That's backed up by a slightly bitter but also creamy chocolate profile. No cinnamon, quite happy about that. The date thing isn't as present. It's a little bit flatter. It's not as indulgent. It's not as rich, despite what I've said with the flavour profile. And then the finish again, I get that milky coffee, like flat white latte thing. It's like if you combine a really milky a latte with like a mocha. I'm sure that probably is a type of chocolate, a type of coffee. But it has that about it. Creamy, chocolate, milky, vanilla. Very nice. Nothing wrong with it at all. It tastes better than the current batches of 12-year-olds that I've tried. Both the sherry, the double, and the triple. But it is significantly more money than them, mostly double. Yeah. As much as it annoys me to say it, it is very nice whiskey. If it was 70 quid, heartbeat, one of the best bottles of the year, without a doubt. But it's not, it's £55 more. And I don't think it's £55 more of a whiskey. It's delicious, but as with most things Macallan, it's just too expensive. If you're a Macallan fan, like myself, and if you've got the spare money and you bought one of these, or 2 or 6, however many the shop let you buy, open them, enjoy them. It tastes delicious. But unfortunately, it's just too expensive, and most people who bought it have probably just put it away. You legally own it. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. But it's just a shame about the price increases. But then again, it's kind of done from the investment point of view. So, vicious circle. It is very nice. And I have been arguing with myself internally about what score to give this, because outside of the price, it's very nice. You include the price. Most of us, if you're really into whiskey, this has probably sparked your interest in some way. because every new Macallan release attracts my interest to a degree. Everyone probably has it with their own brand. A lot of people, it's Middleton. For some people, Glenallachie, of course, back in the day, Glendronach, you know, Starwood in Australia, doing loads of cool stuff. But for me, every time a new Macallan comes out, I'm like, oh, what's that? So, putting my bias to one side, taste-wise, it's very, very nice. It's better than the 12-year-old standard sherry oak that is currently available, but it is significantly more expensive. And I don't think it's worth the additional expense. If it was priced the same, I'd say, yeah, buy this one, but it isn't. So as a result, that will affect the scoring for me. I don't do this all the time, and it might be a bit annoying for you as a viewer, but you know, if it was more affordable, it'd be a delicious drink, but it's just not that affordable for everybody. So, as a result, if it was affordable, I would honestly give it like an 8.5, which is the same score we gave the Compass Box Orchard House last week. Lovely whiskey, £40. Lovely whiskey, £125. Not really available anymore. And if it is available at a retailer, it's £300. On auction, it's roughly that with your fees and stuff as a buyer. So, definitely not worth 300 quid. So as a result, I'm gonna drop it down to an 8. It's really nice, but the justification for wanting to buy it now, outside of you being a collector, in which case you're not gonna drink it anyway. Collector's the wrong word. If you're an investor, you ain't gonna drink it. And people who are spending £300 in it on auction, ironically, they've got enough money to afford to open it, but they're probably buying it just for the collection, right? Because this thing's probably gonna go up more and more in price. So, bit of a long video, bit of a rant. But yeah, it's gonna get an 8, just because I like it, but the price isn't justified. And for me, this is kind of the whiskey equivalent of Rolex, or I can't think what the car alternative would be. I know Rolls-Royce don't make cars that cost below like 200 grand or something. So it's kind of in that ballpark, probably more, as the cameraman is pointing out to me. It's probably more money. I think he's filmed Rolls-Royces, so he knows. I think the Phantom cost $250,000, so there you go. But it's in that premium retail bracket. And I don't blame Macallan for doing that, because some brand was gonna do it. If it wasn't Macallan, it would have been Dalmore. If it wasn't Dalmore, it might have been Johnny Walker or something like that. And in a way, they've got their own premium brackets altogether. But I'm going on myself. This is becoming a very long video. It tastes great, but the price isn't justified. So I'm gonna give it an 8, which is still a pretty respectable score. But all in all, if you want sherry, there are brands out there which do the same thing and more for less. So there you go. If it's just an investor's game, let it be an investor's game. And that means you can all enjoy other whiskies. So that's me, that's Whiskey Wednesday. That's an 8 out of 10 for the Macallan, the Harmony? Yeah, the Harmony collection, Rich Cacao. I'll do it one more time. That's an 8 out of 10. Yeah, I will see you all next week. And I will caveat this, next week, if you've watched this video to the end, is one of the best whiskies that I've ever tried in my life. But it is really expensive, as a very loud Audi goes past the shop. So if you are around next week, please do watch, because honestly, when you see what bottle is listed in the title next week, you'll be as amazed as I was. But yeah, I look forward to seeing you all next week. But yeah, cheers.